It's a big news day this Wednesday. Finance Minister Tito Mboweni will deliver his budget speech today in Parliament. Now, he must balance an overburdened fiscus, which also caters for public servant wages, social grant payments and debt servicing costs. Analysts say the fear is the government will need to borrow more money to fund the country's growth demands. Newzroom Afrika's Athi Mtongana is outside Parliament for us and joins us live this morning. Athi, two big stories converging there on Parliament today. It's the Finance Minister's budget speech this afternoon. SAFTU also saying that their protest will end up on the steps of the legislature.
A very good morning to you, Michelle. Well, a lot of economists and experts would say that the finance minister has one of the toughest budget speeches that he has to deliver. But certainly this year around, I think this will have to be one of his hardest budget speech to deliver for the country, considering how the world has been impacted by COVID-19. And I mean, already South Africa has fallen off the world index for systems that make it easy for businesses to thrive. The finance minister would have to come up at least with policies or interim policies that would be able to allow for businesses to do their operations easier. Water licenses, for instance, how quick can businesses now get their water licenses? How can they quickly get their tax clearance certificates? All these measures or all these tools that would be able to help business get into that space of thriving again, knowing very well how badly they've been impacted by COVID-19. And certainly, Michelle, as you mentioned, a lot of experts coming out to say that the other possibilities that government might have to go back to the IMF, for instance, and go and borrow more money for South Africa, and also possibly those negotiations that are taking place with the World Bank as things stand for a loan for South Africa. But of course, that is going to be met by a lot of skepticism by a lot of unions and, the general public, really, considering how the funds for the PPE have been spent and how that has been marred by corruption. And also that possibility of selling some of these SOEs in the country. We have over 700 state-owned entities, and possibly the minister can also look at cutting down some of those SOEs which really serve no purpose in some instances. He might also have to, Michelle, look at other issues with regards to trying to help the country deal with COVID-19. And as far as the economy is concerned, we're talking about reprioritization, where he'd have to possibly take money from other departments and inject it into the fight against COVID-19. We know already the President of the Republic, President Cyril Ramaphosa, has already mentioned the extension of that social grant and the test for those businesses that have been struggling, and certainly the reprioritization of money taken from some departments to borrow and inject into some departments may also impact the citizens. Similarly, if the minister decides to increase taxes, that also impacts the civil society. And I mean, with regards to cuts, a lot of departments have had that already. If you remember, the last time the minister delivered the budget speech, there were a lot of cuts from several departments where he was taking money from one department to the next, just trying to ensure that he does everything in his power to try and rectify an already ailing economy such as the one that we have currently in South Africa.
Yeah, absolutely. Big job ahead for the finance minister. If we just think about the numbers released by Statistics South Africa just yesterday, 42.6% is the expanded unemployment rate. Athi Mtongana, thanks very much for that. She's live to us from Parliament.